Hello and welcome to Beatlemania, the 1960s phenomena. So the Beatles were a very, very popular band in the 1960s. And this particular article was from January 2011 edition, and it costs £3.50. So you see up here, you can see that this is a newspaper article or a magazine article, and it's a special edition just on the Beatles. Let's have a read of this together. So Beatlemania was the name given to the intense fan following and media interest in the pop group The Beatles, which performed during the 1960s. The band was made up of four members: John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. The unknown band started off playing in Hamburg in Germany and later in the Cavern Club in Liverpool because they were originally from Liverpool in the UK. They wore suits and the same uniform, distinctive Beatle haircut. Their second single, Please Please Me, was recorded in 1962 and shot to number 2 in the official UK charts. With the runaway success of Please Please Me, the Beatles found themselves in huge demand for the whole of 1963. They appeared on numerous TV shows, as well as writing and recording new singles and albums. The music papers were full of stories about the Beatles, and magazines for teenage girls regularly contained interviews and color posters. 1963 was also the year the Beatles started to tour the United Kingdom. The first nationwide tour started in February and lasted for 4 weeks. It was headed by 16-year-old Helen Shapiro and followed by 5 other acts, the last of which was the Beatles. A local journalist wrote, "A great reception went to the colourfully dressed Beatles, who almost stole the show, for the audience repeatedly called for them while other artists were performing." The second tour lasted for 3 weeks and began in March. American stars Tommy Roe and Chris Montez led this particular tour. However, throughout this series of concerts, the crowd screamed and screamed for the Beatles, and for the first time in the UK history, the American stars were less popular than a UK act. The third tour started in May and lasted for 3 weeks. This time, the bill was headed by Roy Orbison, a highly successful American singer. However, at the opening show, the American star proved less popular than the Beatles, and very quickly the souvenir programs were reprinted to place the Beatles above Orbison. On October 13, 1963, the Beatles appeared on Sunday night at the London Palladium, the UK's top TV variety show, hosted by the young Bruce Forsyth. The show was broadcast live to 15 million viewers. One national newspaper reporting the phenomenal nationwide interest in the Beatles gave it the name Beatlemania, and from that day on, that name actually stuck. The fourth UK tour took place in November, 3 days before the tour was to start. The Beatles flew into Heathrow Airport to be greeted by thousands of screaming fans, journalists, and photographers standing in the pouring rain. The wild scenes at the airport caused the British Prime Minister to be obstructed by the crowds and Miss World to be completely ignored. An American TV presenter, Ed Sullivan, was also held up at the airport. He was heard to ask, "Who the heck are the Beatles?" Shortly after, he invited them to America to appear on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was watched by 73 million American viewers. This led to the Beatles being recognized as the founders of the live stadium concert after they went on to perform in front of 55,000 fans in Shea Stadium in New York. The Beatles really were probably one of the most popular bands ever in history, especially during the 1960s. Have a read of this comprehension task again, and then you've got some questions that follow up on this non-fiction exercise. Good luck with this, and we'll follow this up in our next lesson. Thank you.